Earlier today in a tarot reading, something came up that stopped me. There is a small part of me holding on to fear, an old version of me that hasn't fully let go yet. And what's interesting is that we're moving into the April full moon, a time of illumination, not creation, not planting, illumination. And suddenly, that lingering fear, that small piece of identity that hasn't fully released, is being brought to the light. Traditionally, the April full moon was often called the pink moon, not because it's actually pink, but because it marked the blooming of early spring flowers. For our ancestors, this wasn't just symbolic, it was a turning point, a recognition that what survived the winter is now ready to emerge or be released. And they didn't just observe this, they marked it, they worked with it. They would mark this time through cleansing rituals, using what was naturally available to them, burning herbs like rosemary or cedar to clear stagnant or heavy energy, washing their hands or face in water infused with plants as a symbolic reset, and returning to self. They marked it through fire ceremonies, writing down what they were ready to release and placing it into the fire, or simply sitting by a fire, watching the flames, and allowing the mind to settle. Understanding that the fire transformed what we're ready to let go of. They also used this energy and marked it through water offerings, placing intentions into water or returning something to the earth through rivers or lakes. Even something as simple as pouring water into the ground with intention, a quiet acknowledgement of release and renewal. And finally, they marked it through reflection under the moon, not always ritualized in a formal way, sometimes simply stepping outside and looking up and allowing themselves a moment to pause, to feel, to notice, and to acknowledge. Not to force change, but to witness what is shifting. And for me, this is where it connects to what came up today. That small piece of fear, that last thread of identity built on survival, it's not loud anymore. Thank God. It's subtle, but it's there. And instead of ignoring it, it's being illuminated. From a nervous system perspective, this makes sense. Your system doesn't release everything at once. It releases in layers. And as you build capacity, as safety increases, deeper pieces come forward, ready to be released. So when something like fear shows up again, especially in a quieter, more subtle way, it's not you going backwards. It's your system saying, we're ready to process this now. So for me, this full moon isn't about being a dramatic release. It's about noticing that there is still a part of me that expects things to fall apart. And there's also a part of me that it learned it needed to stay braced. And now those parts are being seen. So if something is coming up for you right now, instead of asking, why is this here? Which, trust me, was my first instinct, try asking yourself, what part of me hasn't felt safe enough to fully let go yet? Or what am I being shown right now? Because the full moon doesn't create this, it simply reveals it through illumination. Now, if you are feeling like this and you are looking for a grounding practice, I will let you in on what I plan to do tonight. Tonight, I'm going to step outside, or if it's very, very cold, I may sit near my window, but somewhere where I can see and feel the moon. And you're simply going to place your hands somewhere on your body that feels safe for you. And if placing your hands on your body does not feel safe, just simply grounding your feet into the floor. It's just about bringing awareness back into your body. And all you're going to do is you're going to just take a moment and allow yourself space to acknowledge what's there without trying to fix it. So you can say, what is the full moon trying to illuminate for me that I'm ready to release? And give yourself a few moments to allow the answer to come. Now, for some of us, the answer is going to come right away. And generally, the first thought you have is the correct answer. Sometimes your answer is going to come 24 hours later in the middle of the grocery store. Sometimes it's going to come a couple days later in a dream, but it will come if you allow yourself the space and ask the right question. So again, what is this full moon trying to illuminate for me that I might be ready to release? Once you have figured out what that is, so for me, I know we're working with fear and an old identity that's still hanging on. You then can take the next step and you can say, I see this part of me. I understand why it's here, and I'm safe to meet it now. Or any phrase along those lines where you're simply acknowledging, I recognize, I see you, I feel you, and I'm safe to let you go. And let it go. And again, that second part of that release can be done at any time. It doesn't have to happen over the 3 nights of the full moon. You can do it whenever it comes up. Now, our ancestors understood this, and they did not rush transformation. They created space for it through rituals, through stillness, and through witnessing. They knew what is seen clearly can finally soften. So remember, this full moon isn't asking you to become someone new. It is asking you to gently release what you no longer need to be, layer by layer. Well, friends, if you, like me, are noticing parts of yourself coming up again, know that you're not broken and you're not stuck. You're integrating. And that is all part of the process of this spiritual journey. So for those of you that are sitting in the same place as me, where the full moon is illuminating something that you need to release or that you no longer need to be, I commend you for going ahead and exploring that for yourself and allowing yourself to make space to acknowledge it, make your body feel safe about letting it go, and then just simply asking to let it go. All right, friends, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a very blessed day.